The day that broke me started before sunrise. My wife, 9 months pregnant, was already restless from a long night of false labor pains. My father had a dialysis appointment at 6 a.m., and I had a huge client meeting across town, a remodel that could cover months of bills. I stepped outside to stop my truck, and there it was again, Karen's Mercedes. Diagonal, perfectly angled to block me in completely. Dad's medical transport pulled up, driver honking, but the SUV didn't budge. I sprinted across the street, pounding on Karen's door. I could see her silhouette in the window, mug in hand, deliberately ignoring me. Minutes ticked by. The transport driver was agitated, Dad pale in the backseat, my phone blowing up with messages from my client asking where I was. At 6:20, just before police arrived, Karen finally emerged. She stretched like she just rolled out of bed, smiled, and said, "Oh, did you need to get out?" My dad nearly missed his appointment. I missed my meeting. The client gave the job to someone else. That was $40,000 gone in a blink. And Karen? She walked back inside, smiling like she'd just won. That night, something in me shifted. I was done playing defense. I was done begging her to move her car. She wanted a war, and now she had one. I looked at my father, exhausted in his chair, and at my wife, clutching her belly, stressed beyond belief. And I made a promise. I would make sure Karen never blocked this driveway again. Not by yelling, not by begging, not even by calling the cops. By using the one thing she never expected me to use against her, her own rules. I started where all battles with HOAs begin, the bylaws. Buried inside those endless pages of legal jargon, I found gold. First, her driveway. A property map from years ago showed her concrete pad actually extended 6 feet into HOA common property. That meant, technically, every time she parked there, her Mercedes was illegally on shared land. Second, her car. Expired registration, no valid insurance on record. State law said any unregistered vehicle on public or shared property could be towed immediately. No exceptions. Third, the kicker, HOA bylaws she herself had signed into existence stated that all violations must be enforced equally. No selective treatment. Which meant if she'd fine me for parking issues, her own violations were twice as damning. The loophole was airtight. Her car wasn't just an annoyance. It was a ticking time bomb of legal violations. So, I built my case. Photos of her expired tags. Time-stamped videos of her blocking emergency access. Screenshots of property maps proving her driveway was encroaching on HOA land. Every document organized, copied, and ready. Then, I called Rodrigo, an old friend who owned the biggest towing company in the county. I explained the situation, the legal clauses, the property maps. He laughed for a solid minute, then said the words I'd been waiting to hear. It's legal, 100% by the book. When you're ready, I'll be there. But I didn't stop there. I set up cameras, notified neighbors, and quietly spread the word. If this was going down, I wanted witnesses. I wanted proof. And most importantly, I wanted Karen to feel the same helplessness she had forced on us. The plan was set. The trap was baited. And Karen? She was walking straight into it. It happened on a Tuesday morning. The day Karen's smugness cost her everything. I walked outside to head to wake, and there it was, her white Mercedes, gleaming across my driveway, blocking me once again. It was almost poetic. I smiled. Today was a day. Within minutes, Rodrigo's tow truck rumbled down the street. Neighbors peeked out of windows, some even stepping onto their lawns, phones in hand. This wasn't just my moment. It was everyone's. Rodrigo backed up with surgical precision, flashing lights reflecting off Karen's spotless SUV. The hydraulic lift slid underneath the front tires, locking into place. Metal groaned. Justice was loud. Right on cue, Karen stormed out of her house, heels clicking, face twisted with rage. "What do you think you're doing?" she shrieked, clutching her robe. Rodrigo calmly pointed at the paperwork. Expired registration. Illegally parked on HOA property. Authorization from the bylaws. Karen's voice went shrill, her words tumbling out like machine gun fire. She threatened lawsuits, screamed about discrimination, shouted at neighbors to stop filming. But no one did. They just kept recording. Her car lifted into the air, the back tires rising, her face turning redder by the second. She slapped the side of the tow truck, kicked at the tires, cursed loud enough to echo across the street. But nothing could stop it. Within minutes, her beloved Mercedes rolled down the street on the back of Rodrigo's truck, disappearing around the corner like a fallen crown carried away. And for the first time since I moved into Pinewood Estates, the driveway was clear. The fallout was immediate. Karen was slapped with HOA fines, state penalties for expired tags, and the humiliation of watching her car vanish in front of the entire neighborhood. Her iron grip over the community cracked. Neighbors began pushing back, demanding accountability. Within weeks, she lost her HOA presidency. Her reputation collapsed. As for me, my driveway stayed clear. My father made every appointment on time. My wife finally slept without stress. And Karen's once pristine Mercedes, it never came back. Because when you play games with people's lives, sometimes your car and your power disappear for good.